So vitamin B2, riboflavin deficiency. This will actually present with symptoms same to vitamin B12. You've seen these people who have had their guts chopped off, or a piece of their intestine chopped off because of Crohn's disease or IBS, or those who have done the gastric bypass. So they come with this tongue. You've seen people with the white patches on the tongue, and they're wondering what is happening. That is vitamin B2 deficiency. You've seen people who, when they fold their tongue, you will see ridges. You've seen that? It looks like it was eroded, a gully erosion. Like just you've seen people with that same tongue getting so fatigued in the morning, no energy at all. Then they tell you, oh, could this be a fungal infection? They go use Nystatin, nothing is going out. But they are using sugar, but they're using seed oils, they're eating wheat, they're fortified foods. They just don't know they have vitamin B2 deficiency. And that's why after the gastric bypass surgery, you will always be going for vitamin B complex injection. Now you understand. You will spend all that money to do a surgery because you want the shortcuts. And then you will spend a lot of money buying supplements for nausea, supplements for B complex to just replace the problems that you're suffering from, mineral deficiencies. Anyway, fatigue is part of the deficiencies of this vitamin. And then glossitis, which is an inflamed tongue, very red tongue or those white patches on the tongue. And then, of course, stomatitis. Stomatitis is inflamed oral cavity. This is actually relatable to people who are taking drugs for cancer. You've seen people who are taking drugs for cancer having this pink looking lips and all that. That inflamed. So now that happens on the inside part of it because again, anti-cancer drugs, anti-TB drugs actually deplete vitamin B2. When they do that, you start suffering from the consequences of a deficiency of vitamin B2. What are the sources of vitamin B2? Because I don't want to go into so much details about that. One, of course, the liver is there, eggs are there, fish is there, all the seafoods are there. And then there's something called the diet yeast. Now the problem is the yeast in the markets, just like ACV nowadays, is so corrupted. ACV is so diluted. Even the Bragg's company has just diluted it because they sold it anyway. So now it becomes a serious problem. So you can't trust this system. Simply trust the fish, trust the egg yolks for the grass-fed chicken, and then trust the liver, beef liver to be specific. And you will see most of these vitamins come from the same sources. The same foods that you've been running away from are the same foods that actually serve you these vitamins. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, don't say poverty is the enemy. It's just a mindset that is the enemy. Okay? So people who have gut problems, the celiac disease, the leaky gut, the gastritis, the ulcers, the H. pylori, the IBS, the pancreatitis, the liver problems, all of these symptoms will come in handy because you're actually unable to digest and absorb these vitamins. Even though you're eating foods that don't have these vitamins, you're actually bringing in very low quantities of these vitamins. But you are also unable to absorb them. So even the list that you're bringing in through the diets that are fortified, you cannot even absorb them. Moving on swiftly, we will go to the most important one, the vitamin B3. Just the time I got money to buy the big one, they diluted it. Imagine. So when we started waking up thinking that, oh, now we can buy SCV to fix our guts, boom. But the good thing, you still have kombucha, you still have fermented cabbage, you still have kefir. You still have milk, fermented milk without boiling and without adding sugar. Those are probiotics and those are things that can actually fix your gut. So yes, enjoy that. Now, vitamin B3 is called niacin. Do you remember niacin? Now, niacin comes in two ways. One side of niacin is going to help you to fix high cholesterol. Now, when I say high cholesterol, all of you know I am an advocate of cholesterol. So why are we taking this one? Thank you, Mimi. Number two, we have something called nicotinamide. It's not nicotine. So don't smoke cigarettes thinking that now, because I've said nicotinamide, is coming with the cigarettes. Nicotinamide is another one. So it comes in two ways. But most importantly, why are we using vitamin B3 to fix cholesterol problems? Like imagine, why? Why do we tell you to eat fatty meats and then we give you vitamin B3 to actually bring down the cholesterol? This vitamin B3 is actually going to bring down triglycerides. Where are we getting triglycerides from? Fruits honey, sugarcane, processed foods, fructose. Broke it down, you get fats. These fats are called triglycerides. So vitamin B3 comes in handy to actually make sure that it regulates triglycerides. Amazing, right? Amazing. Now, again, vitamin B3 is very important because it is the one that actually converts. You see, when you eat meat, the red meat, you will absorb an amino acid that is called tryptophan. Remember when we were talking about depression, we talked about tryptophan amino acid? So when you eat meat, you digest it in the stomach through that acid and pepsin, and then you absorb the amino acids. One of the amino acids is called tryptophan. Tryptophan is going to be converted to serotonin and also to melatonin. Now, serotonin is the mood hormone, the one that's going to help you in elated mood to actually get you out of that depressed mode, depressed, to take you into the creation mode. So when you're depressed, you're actually in depressed. Simply walk out of that nonsense, start doing something. Okay, good. Now, that serotonin, on further extent, it can actually be broken down to give you melatonin. Do you know what melatonin does? Again, we did a live on insomnia and we talked about melatonin. This is a hormone that actually regulates sleep. So you cannot get good sleep if you don't eat animal-based protein, the meats, red meats to be specific. You cannot get out of that depression if you're still avoiding red meat. It's a crazy idea. Now, this goes to the vegetarians. I'm not saying all vegetarians will suffer from vitamin B3 deficiency and depression. I'm saying that most of them will go through this lane. So if you're trying to tell me, oh, I'm a vegan, I'm telling you, why do you have canines? Don't you listen to nature? Why do you have canines? Because you need to tear meat, right? Amazing. So vitamin B3 is the one that is actually important in conversion of tryptophan to serotonin and also serotonin to melatonin so that you can get sleep and you can get out of that deep resting mode and start doing something. The deficiency condition for vitamin B3 is called pellagra or pellagra, depending on where. If you went to a Mogoya primary school, of course, pellagra. If you went to a group of schools, Riara, you know very well, wherever. But pellagra is actually a deficiency condition for vitamin B3, the niacin. And of course, the syllabus will tell you that if you have a deficiency of vitamin B3, you will have high cholesterol. Is a lie. You might end up having a higher ratio of LDL to triglycerides. LDL to triglycerides, which is dangerous to you because the triglycerides are going up and they can clog your arteries, they can cause your fatty liver and all those problems with insulin resistance. So yes, vitamin B3 can actually help you reverse insulin resistance. Imagine that. And where do we get vitamin B3? Please don't forget this, the obvious. Don't forget the obvious. So when I tell you to eat the liver, you're telling me, oh, the liver stores vitamin A and that is toxic. Oh, the liver stores toxins because it's the one that detoxifies the system. So if I eat the liver, I'll end up getting toxins. You're crazy. You are crazy. Crazy. The vegetarians claim that their canines is for tearing sugarcane. What kind of thing? Hey, please. So, hey, Mumia's sugar. I went for a trip to Mumia's sugar when I was also in primary school. Those days were amazing. By the way, school was interesting. Nowadays, schools are so boring. Children have woken up at 4 a.m. They are sleeping on the road. By the time they're getting into that bus, they just pass out. By the time they're getting to those schools, education is boring. There are no songs that we used to sing when we were kids that were universal. Sometimes I sing a song and everybody tells me, kwani hata hiyo mlikuwa mnaimba kwenu? It was universal. It was interesting. Nowadays, school are teaching children how to be, I don't know, how to convert from male to female and female to male. What is that? What type of nonsense is that? Schools have been infiltrated. Nothing. Politicians are there in schools and you've seen. And may those children, may their souls rest, but may their spirit keep on hovering until the truth is known. Those children who suffered in that school, man, that is so sad. Anyway, moving on. So school used to be very interesting. And now, apparently we have canines. Even from the name, canines. So we have now canines to eat. If that was true, that canines are supposed to eat sugarcane, trust me, the lion, the leopards will be the ones that will be eating so much sugarcane. So why do when in nature is not speaking to us? How is it possible that leopards don't eat sugarcane unless otherwise? So why was sugarcane reserved for vegetarians? Aye. And not for leopards, which have the highest source, the largest canines. Sometimes listen to nature. There's a place where science gets to the end and now nature takes over. And science, most of the research is actually agreeing to whoever finds it. Deficiency of vitamin C, I've told you, is pellagra, but we also have diarrhea. That is vitamin B3. Diarrhea, we also have dermatitis. Those people who have very bad skin. We also have dementia, loss of memory. Remember, vitamin B2 also plays this role. And then, of course, death. You'll just die. These are very important one also, okay? Yeah, so you'll be depressed. Very, very bad mood. And you lack sleep. Imagine being depressed at the same time lacking sleep. Hi. By the time you get to doze off, you've tried that rope on your neck several times. Like, hey. I have a problem with nerves. Yes, you have a problem. You don't have a problem with nerves. You have a problem with sugar. You eat too much sugar, and you expect nerves to respond to sugar differently. They can't. They will be destroyed. So how do you know somebody has this pellagra and all that? Mouth sores are there, just like vitamin B2. We also have dementia, loss of memory, just like vitamin B2. We have diarrhea and an inflamed skin. So you see, all these symptoms are just looking like the same. And then the sources of these vitamins are actually the same. So when I tell you fix the gut and then eat red meat, eat the liver, eat chicken plus the skin, you tell me, the skin of the chicken has cholesterol. It does have cholesterol. And we need cholesterol. We cannot live without cholesterol. You can't. And we've talked about it over and over. But people don't just listen. People love their hell. Trust me, people love their hell. They do. If you get them out of their hell, they are rebellious. People love hell. So stick in that hell until you get to see light. You will cross over. You will get salvation. So don't worry. It's time for you to just maintain there. You will come back. Now, vitamin B5. We told you vitamin B5 is what we call pantothenic acid. Hey, listen to this. I am particularly fat kwa hips from childhood. Help me hour. Wants me to believe that she's only fat at the hips only. Like my hips are the only thing that are fat. And please, Daktari, help me to actually tone down these hips. Amazing, right? Amazing. Same people who tell us, I have baby fat and blah, blah, blah. 5 years after giving birth. Same people who tell us, I just want to lose the belly fat. Just belly fat. All other parts of the body are okay, Daktari. I only want to lose the belly fat. I'm like, okay. Why don't you just chop it off? Like, you lose belly fat alone. How? Yeah. When you're eating, it was just going to the belly fat. This is the last part where we actually put fat. We deposit fat at the belly, the last option, as the last storage organ. So how can you just lose belly fat alone? That's why you go to the gyms. And this guy who comes from Tanzania, who is always hitting ladies' stomachs to just burn fat. You've seen him? His name starts with D. Have you seen that guy? Takes these fat ladies and tells them to hold on to something, and he's busy tapping their stomachs and telling them, keep going. That's how you're burning fat. I'm like, bro. Just because you've trained the former governor of Mombasa does not mean you have a brain for the gym. It doesn't mean you understand anatomy. So you hit these ladies for 6 months straight. They end up getting damaged organs. You know that? You know that guy? I hope you know him from Tanzania. Wa Tanzania tafadhali. Kama hivyo ndo mnachoma mafuta, Mlikuwa mnaita, they called talo, samli. Is it samli? Hey. Anyway, pantothenic acid. That is vitamin what? Vitamin B5. Now listen to vitamin B5. This is one of the most abundant vitamins on earth. So you can hardly get into deficiency of vitamin B5. Very hard. Now, panto means everywhere. So panto ako kila mahali, right? He is everywhere. Thenic means strength. So everywhere, but with a lot of strength. So it is in all foods. Basically, that's why it's everywhere. So this one we cannot even take much time on it because it's everywhere. So the deficiency will not even cause us a lot of issues. Because again, if we get into deficiencies, we'll simply go back and eat whatever we are eating, including fortified foods, and we are good to go. So let's let that go. But the question that I get Of course, and I answered it. Why don't we have vitamin B4, B8, B10, and B11? The reason why we don't have vitamin B4, B8, B10, and B11 is because one, some of them are found in the body, they are synthesized in the body, so they do not qualify for the criteria for classification of vitamins. For you to classify something as a vitamin, one, it must be essential, so it must be necessary for the body, but it is not synthesized in the body. It has to come from the diets. That's the reason why we don't have these B4, B8, B10, and B12 as vitamins. Okay, perfect. Let's move to pyridoxine, vitamin B6. B6, those people who are taking Neurobion Forte, tablets for Neurobion Forte, those people who are diabetic, they have taken vitamin B6 supplements without even knowing. Pyridoxine, those people who are taking drugs for TB, isoniazid to be specific, depletes vitamin B6. Therefore, you need a supplement that is called pyridoxine. But you see, pyridoxine, the supplement in the tablet, is a synthetic one. Okay? Natural ones are still present in the same foods that we mentioned here all the time. But this is what is important here. So vitamin B6 is actually involved in the brain and the nerve function. So if you have a deficiency, of course, numbness is coming in, those tingling effects, the piercings in the legs, sometimes hot feet and cold feet in the night, that's vitamin B6 deficiency. Memory loss is also part of this. But I want you to know this, that vitamin B6 is also necessary in formation of histamine. Histamine is the, can I call it the neurotransmitter? Let me use the word neurotransmitter that actually modulates allergies and also helps you in production of stomach acid. That's why one class of drugs that actually are used to treat, in quotes, hyperacidity, again, that hyperacidity in quotes, are actually called H2 antagonists. That H is for histamine receptor 2 antagonists. Okay? So when you have high histamine, you're producing that acid in excess, and now we have to stop it. But histamine plays a very important role in asthma, in skin allergies, protein allergies that you people mention all the time, instead of just dropping wheat. So this is actually where problems come in. So when you have this deficiency, you end up having a lot of allergies. You end up having the reflux disease and all that. But most importantly, for you to convert some amino acids to histamine, that's where you need vitamin B6. Also, for you to convert another amino acid that is called glutamic acid. Now, remember we talked about epilepsy and drugs for epilepsy? Do you remember that? When we talked about that, we said the neurotransmitter that is necessary, that is important here, is called GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. Do you remember that? Those of you who attended that live, GABA. GABA comes from glutamic acid. Glutamic acid is in most proteins, but there's another glutamic acid which is glutamate that is found in pizza, that is found in those spices, the cubes, that is found in pasta, that is found in noodles. Is called monosodium glutamate, MSG. The one that masks your taste buds, the one that masks your brain and fries your brain, the one that inflames your gut so that you cannot taste food in their natural forms, is called MSG. That one is a crazy one. But on this one, glutamic acid, that is an amino acid coming from the red meat, is converted to GABA and also to dopamine. So this vitamin B6 is very essential in people who have epilepsy and seizures. Imagine that. Just eating the liver and the egg yolks and fixing the gut, you're already having the GABA being activated. And GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which basically blocks the abnormal firings in seizures. And now this tells you these people start to recover. Now, do you really need to take phenobarbital for a lifetime when you can take vitamin B6 from an egg for a lifetime? The choice is yours. Another one, converting arachidonic acid to prostaglandins. Now, you remember very well when we talked about NSAIDs, the painkillers, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, we said from the cell membrane, we have membrane phospholipids that are broken down to an acid that is called arachidonic acid. And then that acid is the one that produces the prostaglandins, which mediate pain, which protect your gut from ulcers and from the acid. These prostaglandins are coming from arachidonic acid. And for you to convert arachidonic acid to prostaglandins, you must have vitamin B6. Therefore, if you have deficiency of vitamin B6, ulcers are there and gastritis. pain sensation will not be there. So you'll suffer consequences because you don't even have sensations. Your gut will have a problem because these prostaglandins protect the gut. And also, ladies, for you to get a menstrual cycle, your stomach wall or your uterus wall must contract to release the already wasted wall. We call it slowing off. So it has to come out. So for you to release it from the wall of the uterus, you must cause those contractions. And these prostaglandins are the ones that actually cause those contractions. So if you don't have vitamin B6, you will end up retaining the wall inside, and that is a risk of urinary tract infections and sometimes infertility. Imagine that. So vitamin B6 is actually necessary for your menstrual cycle and also for your fertility. Do you see how these things connect? Also, your nerves are covered by a layer of an insulator because remember, nerves are actually electric wires. So they are covered by something that is called sphingomyelin. Sphingomyelin is actually cholesterol. So for you to cover or insulate these nerves, you must have vitamin B6. This is the reason why you have numbness when you have vitamin B6 deficiency. Are we clear there? Look at how interesting that is, just unfolding. And that's why we need cholesterol. And when you need that cholesterol, for you to use it to cover those nerve cells, to insulate those nerve cells, you need vitamin B6. Now, most importantly, those nerves that are covered by that cholesterol, the insulated ones, okay, we call them the myelinated nerves. They contract or they actually fire neurons very fast, which means those nerves that are coming from the sensory, from the skin to the brain, that will tell the brain, hey, this guy has touched a hot pan, must be myelinated, must have that insulator, so that they pass that information so fast so that you withdraw that hand from that hot pan. But imagine this. One, you have vitamin B6 deficiency that is going to cause you numbness. Number two, it's going to cause you, those nerves will not be myelinated, they will not be insulated. So one, you cannot be able to feel the pain, so you'll stick that hand on that pan until you suffer, until you die. And you cannot withdraw it faster because the coordination is actually messed up. So vitamin B6 is one of the most important vitamins in the B category. Just look at that. Amazing stuff, right? Very interesting. Medicine is not that complicated, but when you get the details, the smaller details, you'll never go wrong. Nutrition was never complicated until they put it into a syllabus that actually conditioned nutritionists to think in a certain direction, and now they cannot think outside the gutter. Their mind is in the syllabus, in the guidelines, in all this nonsense, and that is what they are just regurgitating. Pharmacists who are selling you Neurobion 40, they cannot even contemplate this. They don't even know that pyridoxine in that Neurobion 40 is actually vitamin B6. They don't even know. And now you know. And now you start asking your pharmacist questions, and he gets upset. But because the money is yours, you simply go and buy eggs and eat the yolks and let him store his medication. If you walk into a consultation room and you're told, now you have diabetes and diabetes causes the numbness, and this numbness is the one that is causing you all these problems, and now they give you a drug for the numbness and they're not fixing your kitchen, look straight into their eyes and tell them, thank you, Daktari, I will see you again. And walk out and go buy eggs and fix the kitchen so that you drop the diabetes, because drugs for diabetes also block absorption of vitamin B6 and B12. Metformin, to be specific, it is one of the drugs for diabetes and pre-diabetes. It is the first-line drug, but it blocks absorption of vitamin B6 and vitamin B12. Therefore, you are unable to perform these functions. But nobody tells you about the side effects of metformin. But they'll tell you, oh, metformin will help you to recover. But they will not tell you the side effects of metformin. They will not tell you what you expect after taking metformin. But the next time you're coming for a review, now you have the numbness, now you have muscle incoordination, now you cannot even feel pain. What do they give you? They give you now vitamin B6 as a synthetic supplement. But they're the same people who warned you on eating eggs, who told you the liver has toxins, who told you red meat is a problem, who told you fish has mercury, right? They're the same people who are now putting you on Neurobion 40 for a lifetime. Because you know diabetes kills nerves and it's a progressive disease and you need these supplements. Well, yeah. Hey. Now you know. So this also, vitamin B6 is very necessary in synthesis of blood. So if you don't have vitamin B6, of course, you're getting into anemia. DNA is part of it. And what causes deficiency of vitamin B6? Alcohol, chronic alcoholism. As you drink that beer every weekend saying it's two for the road, you're actually messing your system up. Not only will you get a fatty liver, not only will you get insulin resistance that will give you diabetes, and then you start drugs for diabetes, you will start by having these problems with the nerves. And then you end up getting diabetes and they add you a drug that causes you more nerve problems. Hata kama ni wewe, eh? Ama ni mimi ndo, am I overthinking? I'm just telling you the truth. And it's there. It's not like it's coming from the trees. I get it from the books, I get it from the journals. And I went to school and this is exactly what I studied. But when I was studying it, it looked like so much information in those 6, 7 years. There was so much information. I could not even contemplate it. I could not even think it and digest it this way. And now that I'm digesting it, they're getting angry. Why are they getting angry? Because they are reaping so much from you. When you are one diabetic patient, there's a lot that is coming with you. Trust me, you. Just the same way when I see a pregnant woman, there's a lot that is coming with her. When you have high cholesterol, oh, my friend, you are the best friend to a pharmacist, to your doctor, to your consultation, to your consultant, and all that, and the hospital at large, and the big pharma, of course. Good. Anyway, let's continue. So when you're taking drugs for TB, isoniazid, you must take vitamin B6 as a supplement. When you're taking hydralazine, a drug for hypertension, you must take vitamin B6 as a supplement because they block absorption of this. When you're taking contraceptives, ladies, when you're taking hormonal contraceptives, the oral ones, the injectables, the implant, you must take vitamin B6 as a supplement. But of course, thank you so much because here we are not taking hormonal contraceptives, so we are safe. Here we are not taking alcohol, we are safe. Here we are not we are fixing the kitchen, so the diabetes is not going to happen. Yes, methotrexate, again, methotrexate is one drug that is actually used severally. One, to lower immunity when you want to have a transplant. Two, it's an anti-cancer medication. It's a, hey, that drug, my friend, is also used as a DMARD, disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drug in rheumatoid arthritis. This drug called methotrexate blocks absorption of vitamin B6 and B12 problems. So imagine somebody who has arthritis and now ends up having numbness because of taking a drug that blocked absorption of vitamin B6. Hey. Cheers, my people. Where